How difficult, or was it difficult? I mean, the score indicates it wasn't. To get ready for that game Saturday, you wanted to leave in great shape. You wanted to leave a champion, but there were so many distractions, including social media suggesting that you were leaving based on your own child.
Yes, that was not a very good job by Knox, which, speaking of, Knox, come here really quick. Hurry up. Here he is right here, the guy who spilled the beans right there.
Hey, way to go, Knox.
And he's happy now. He's on the plane today with the SEC chant. So, no, it was, that's a big credit, Paul, to our players, but especially our assistant coaches that, with all that stuff going on, we're able to put together a great game plan and win another conference championship in dominant fashion. And that would be the last 6 years of where we've been. That'd be 5 conference championships with 5 different quarterbacks. So it was a really awesome day.
Listen, I know that there's been a lot of coverage of your hiring today. We had some of the all the news conference live. But I also realized a lot of people did not hear us. So some of these questions will sound very familiar. But let's go back a couple of days. And certainly you're trying to prepare for an important conference game, but schools are coming after you. Tell us how you dealt with all that.
Well, really just, put our team first, at FAU and made sure we were prepared. And, then, some other times, some phone calls and then eventually some in-person stuff. But everything was there. I obviously didn't leave the area and it was done after work. So it was crazy. It was a crazy few days, and so it's great to be here at Ole Miss. They told me the biggest reason they hired me was you actually wrote a positive article about me. So thank you. You got me fired at USC, but now you got me hired again. We're equal.
One of these, listen, I have wrongly gotten the blame for your dismissal at USC, and I won't bore the audience, but I happened to be on game day that morning talking about how they needed a change, and just so happened the next day they have. And you blame me for that, haven't you?
I do. You did call me Miley Cyrus of college football. That didn't help a whole lot. But no, it was actually, if you heard the press conference today, I talked about, obstacles that we go through in life, that may seem really bad at the time can be really good. That was obviously a very tough stage in time, getting fired there. But, that allowed me and opened a door to go to Nick Saban for 3 years. And had that not happened, I wouldn't be here. And I certainly wouldn't be as good as coach as I am today without having those 3 years. So, like I said, very thankful to Coach Saban and the opportunity he gave me, which really helped me get better.
And that was always controversial because you had already taken the FAU job and then you left before the national championship game, and no reason to go through the spilled milk, but a lot of us, including myself, felt like by you leaving, you may have hurt Alabama's chances. I frankly think you would have won they would have won the national championship had you stuck around another week.
Well, I appreciate that, but that's the past, and what happened. And so, we've talked about it. You and I have. That was a difficult game to watch, especially because it came down so close. And Steve Sarkisian's amazing, but when you make a change and that happens like that, and you got a true freshman quarterback, it was tough to watch.
It was tough to watch, but what wasn't tough to watch was the press conference today. I just want you to describe the feeling from last night through today. Listen, you've been. This is your 5th head coaching job, but it looked like in some ways it was your first, based on the smile you had and the excitement in that room.
Yeah, it really was. There was, and when you go through 6 years, between the USC and here, that, I think, as you get older and you have to reinvent yourself, you got to rework like we did, go back to scratch, that there's a lot of appreciation for it, that, hey, we did a lot to get here, versus, we did a lot before, but, I was very fortunate and got some really good breaks. Got to be with Coach Carroll and, got some jobs really young. My name certainly didn't hurt me in that, so I understand that. So I think that this was all a plan, and it really has made me appreciate, being on this level and this stage and what it means, to the team and to everyone around here. That was crazy at the airport. It looked like thousands of people to me, as we land the plane. And like I said today, I think a lot better tarmac than the one 6 years before that, that's for sure. Full circle, Paul. Full circle.
Yeah, Coach, it is an amazing story, but I want you to talk for a second about this reputation that some have tried to put on you, that even though you're in your 40s now, people want to act like you're still in your 30s or 20s. And I think you're the best person to talk about the journey you've been on.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, sometimes once people have an opinion of you, like I used to say, you and I, Paul, we could watch the same exact game. And let's say we're watching Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. And I like Kobe and you don't. And we watch the same game and, he shoots 40 shots, only goes 25% from the floor, and I like him. So I say, man, he's so competitive. This guy wants to take over the game. You watch him and say, man, he's a ball hog. He can't make any shots. So I think sometimes once you have an opinion of someone, you kind of, you make that happen in your head. So it is what it is, and we're on the steps to change that. We've been working for a long time to change that, and we're probably not going to change everybody, but that's okay. We got to coach for the players where we're at, the administration where we're at, and the fans where we're at, and so we couldn't be more excited than to be here.
Let's talk about your staff, and I know that you're a week away from recruiting, and putting a staff together is not easy, but where are you? Because that's a critical part of any head coaching tenure.
Yeah, Paul, this has really changed from whatever, 10, 11 years ago, Tennessee. I was thinking, okay, we got the job similar time and went and signed a top 10 class and the #1 player in the country, but back then everybody signed in February. So, you had time to put your staff together and you had time to get in on these kids. This is a little bit harder, in your first year now for these first-year head coaches. So we really got to hit the ground running as we are. Already saw a kid last night before we even had, and this morning at 6:30 a.m. before we ever even had a press conference. So we're trying to catch up.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.